Hello Connective, welcome back. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you don't know how I work, I pull a bunch of different cards from different decks to tell a story and we talk about it. If you like the content, feel free to subscribe. Don't smash anything. And with that being said, let's get into this energy. This is a general reading for Scorpio. I've been doing a lot of readings lately that have like specific questions or just themes in general. And so we're just going to look for, any message that wants to come through for the zodiac signs. So, Scorpio, it's your turn. Happy birthday. If you've already had your birthday, happy belated birthday. If you haven't had it yet, happy birthday. And if it's not your birthday or you're not a Scorpio, happy unbirthday. So let's get it. Let's try to see if we can get these R shuffled. Let's try to see if we can get these to jump. Tell us what we're going to be talking about today. Ooh, yeah. Pretty sure that's that same card that's poking up, but we're going to let it try to. There's a reason why they just so elegantly jump back in. Oh, I might have been able to stop that one. I don't know. All right, look at this. Oh no. No. All right. Let's just be a little bit more intentional. This reading is coming out really close to my birthday, so I'm wondering exactly what message is going to come out for us. Yeah, everybody always says that Scorpio messages are more intense. I wouldn't know because that's pretty much all I pull. But it would be interesting to give. I've actually never given a reading for other Scorpios. All right, well, we're going to go through this one more time, and I do want more energy cards. So if this is the only one that's sitting there, you know what? Maybe what we'll do is start with one and then try to see if this deck wants to talk later. We'll see what's up. All right. It's going to be hard to talk about one card. Oh, God. I'm so glad it's not the card that fell out when I was shuffling earlier. All right. This is man holding a coin. First when I saw him, I was like, no. But that's not the card. And it's the card we keep getting. It's the card we keep getting. If you look at my other readings, it's the card that keeps coming out. I'm not even going to say which card it is. Yes, it has happened a few times, but it's the card. The card. If you really want a hint, it's the Doing Battle card. It's the Hostilities card. You really need a hint. You can go back and watch those videos. So glad it didn't come out. But that would be a total Scorpio message. just saying. All right, we'll see if this one wants to jump. Now I'm wondering if the Alice the Wonderland messages are going to overpower the energy message. The man holding a coin. I don't know. Do Scorpios care about men holding coins? Let's find out. I mean, some of you Scorpios are going to be men, and you can really identify with anything you want, but you really should pay attention to that energy, the masculine and feminine energy, because just like everybody else, you're going to have to learn to balance it, whether or not you want to, acknowledge it, separate it. It's not really about separation. It's about them working in unison, So regardless of how you want to look at things or people, I would not deny the masculine or the feminine energy. Looks like Alice the Wonderland is done talking too. So we got, let's bring it up. This is like Scorpio's reading. Let's see what's going on. So man holding a coin. Okay. And what do we have here? Mortality? Life is brief, bright. Looks like bountiful. And your what? I got the magnifying glass. Hold on. Mortality. Life is brief, bright, beautiful, and yours to live. I mean, this is telling me like change, like transform, you know, Scorpio, transformation. Yeah, there's so many ways I can go. All right, you know what? Let's just pull the moon card now. Wow. Let's just move around a little bit. This could go so many different ways with 2 cards. If you've seen any of my other readings with just 1 or 2 cards, you know I could talk for 20 minutes with 2 cards. There's a couple ways I could take this. It could be a reading that's considered to be like, well, it's going to be this way. And then it could be another reading where it's like, oh, it's this way. You got to watch that. And it's like, I really don't want to lead it anywhere until I'm sure I would like more cards. I might try to force these other decks to talk. Just because this is like scant, right? Like, this gives us time to talk though. Possibility this one won't talk either. All right. Let's go through it one more time. All right. Usually I just let them do their thing. Oh. Last quarter moon in Leo, lighten up. This is starting to look like a failed relationship to me, or a relationship that's failing. I mean, in all fairness, this deck has like the man holding the coin and the man holding the heart. And obviously this is not the man holding the heart. But the symbolism in this deck of people holding anything is really what draws my attention. And, you know, it always can go either way. It could be someone who wants to give something to someone, or somebody who took something away, or somebody who is drawn to somebody because they have this thing in their hand. And the thing in their hand can be something they have or something they want. You know what I mean? That's what these people holding anything tell me, right? Then we have mortality, which even though this card is really emphasizing about life being brief, you know, I mean, kind of like things ending. I mean, obviously it is telling you it's brief and bright. So this isn't like a dismal card or anything. And then on top of that, you know, it's talking about beautiful and yours to live, right? So, I mean, the card is meant to say, you know, hey, you know, appreciate, you know, the beautiful side, bright side of things, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm getting from this card. But mortality, that word mortality, it keeps bringing me back to like the nature of Scorpio, which is transformation. You know, a lot of times it's like death and transformation. Like you can't, I mean, you could transform without dying, but you know, they always say that every new beginning comes at the basically the end of another ending. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where in order to have the change or to have the transformation, it has to be something else, right? Mortality, death. And then we have lighten up. Lighten up. Now, this is telling me, you know, again, Leo, I mean, this could be a Scorpio as a Leo, right? And that's any kind of scenario that I just described might fall in line with that Leo. It's a possibility. In fact, we are going to want to get these cards to talk again. So I'm going to go through them again. I don't think I've ever done that. I mean, I go through them later. I pull what I want, go through it later, talk about it, see what's going on. What are you doing, Munchkin? What are you doing? Where are you? Do you have a toy? What's going on, Bucky? You're making noise. Huh? All right. Can you not do that? Okay. I may or may not edit that out. Because I got thrown off. I'm not sure what I was talking about. I should stop and go back to look. But you know what? I'm sure this reading will tell me. Oh my God. Okay. Let's see what fell out. This is kooky. So kooky. And I felt more than one card. Where'd it go? Holy cow. No way. There's more than one card. Oh, for Christ's sake. Okay. Really though, I might have to make sure there's no, no, there were no other cards down here. So hold on. This thing just turned into a circus, right? Like this, the whole, wow. All right. No, I felt more than one card, but there are no cards down here. Okay. So we have the man holding a coin and the woman holding a heart now. I'd swear there's another card. I want to move this whole bench, but we're not going to do it. That card came out! I was avoiding things going this way. Hold on. I'm getting over a cold. I just might not even edit this at all. So I've been avoiding this reading going this way. Unbelievable, right? The same card that card, boy. We're like married. What's the number on this card? 26 doesn't mean anything to me. So anyway, wow. Alrighty then. You know what? Alice, better talk. we're gonna wow, mortality. No. Well, I'm sorry, Scorpio. This is not the reading that I necessarily intended for you. I feel like, Cancer and Pisces kind of got off light, but again, I think these are the comments that everybody's always talking about. I mean, I might edit parts of this, but this might be a little bit of a longer video than the others because, frankly, this is more serious. Look, not talking at all. Well, you know what we're going to do. All right. Who else do we got besides Leo? What's going on? We've got... We'll get to that. You can't go back to yesterday. Here we go. Managed to be glad. See? And I thought, well, I'll just go ahead with the reading and then we'll get the other cards later. I'm a little flustered when I make the Napoleon Dynamite sign. That sound. It's like that when you hear me with the leaky tires and you're like just beyond like right? Like what other, we want to know who else is involved besides Leo. I want two other signs to talk to over here with this. It's not just going to be Scorpio and Leo here. I'm going to tell you that right now. Watch me pull Scorpio and Leo. Moon cards, we're going to go from the bottom. What do we got? Gemini, thank the Lord. Full moon in Gemini, embrace the flow of life. The message is still staying the same. And the bottom, full moon in Sagittarius, see the bigger picture. Oh, okay. Okay. You know what? How much time are we into right now? Let's pull the blind spot. Let's pull the blind spot now. We're going to talk about it. Shh. Crap. Does that mean I'm getting the trigger cards out? Or what? Okay. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see what's going on. I'm going to dig into this. All right, what do we got? I swear I've seen this sigil before. Oh, I'll show it to you. 78. I'm pretty sure I've seen this sigil before. All right, we're almost there. We're like, this reading is something else. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is self-preservation disguised as self-sabotage. I already know what this card means too. Okay. I see now why when I watch other card readers who are doing Scorpio readings. I'm getting over a cold. They react the way that they do. Because this is like all my other readings on this channel. This is like the readings that we've been doing where we've been talking about the harsh stuff. I've really been wanting to get away from that. You know, I mean, really, spoiler alert, most of those videos are about boundaries, you know. I'm really surprised that came out that way. So, the only thing I'm looking at right now, well, that's a good point. Usually I move these cards around depending on what the story is, right? So I'm like, oh, okay, the ending happened here, and then this, and then this. If I can't split it into 3 different signs or 3 different stories, that's usually the case, right? So I'm looking at this and I'm trying to figure out if the ending has already happened or if we're working towards the ending here. So it's a possibility that it could be both. Like it could be working towards the ending for some people, and then for some people the ending has already happened and they're trying to get over it, right? Either way, there's love and money involved. And if it's not money, it could be anything. It could be abundance. It could be a lot of things that were taken away from somebody, or a lot of things that were given to somebody. It doesn't have to be money. It could be emotional things. It could be anything. But definitely it wasn't. So we've spent a lot of time with that card, and we've talked about how this could be hostilities from other people, or this could be hostilities like other people towards you, or hostilities that you do to yourself, right? This ending has already happened. If you're in this and you don't see, if it hasn't happened, if the ending hasn't happened for you yet, it sounds like, I mean, I'm being very general, but if this sounds like your situation and the ending hasn't happened yet, when it does, you're going to be relieved. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Every relationship that I've ever had that was like this, and that was most of them. I'm even just talking about romantic relationships. All I ever wanted when I was in it was to get out of them. I mean, it really is a choice, right? Like, you're in a relationship and you make the choice to either end the suffering, doesn't matter what kind of suffering it is, or to not let go of the person, right? So like, it's either ending the suffering or not ending the suffering, or letting go of the person or not letting go of the person. But do you understand what I'm saying? You hate this. I want to get out of this. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't like this. I don't want to relate to people this way, however you want to look at it. But then the thing that keeps you from leaving is the desire to not be away from that person. I don't want to leave this person. I love this person, this person, this person. Right? I have this thing I want to get away from. I want to get away from it, but I don't want to get away from this person. This person has this thing that I want to get away from, but I don't want to get away from this person. This really is like afterwards, but I do want to address the people that are trying to get out of it. Why? Well, this card, I mean, sure, after you get out of it, it could really mess with you. This is your blind spot, right? But before you get out of it, that's the card that could keep you from getting out of it. So that card means many things to me. And again, this reading means many things to me. So I'm going to throw the ideas out there, and you're just going to have to kind of fit together in the pieces that you can, because literally all these scenarios can kind of come together in different combinations. But like I said, I don't want to shy away from a complex reading. If it's got like multiple aspects of it, I've had a lot of people tell me, it's just blowing me away, because like I said, I've never done a reading for another Scorpio, but I've had tarot card readers saying stuff that like they always do Scorpio's readings last because Scorpio wears them out, and it's like, I see this and I want to just reach in there and dissect the thing. This is a little bit crazy. So so I want to get to, glad I pulled this. I want to get to this blind spot for those people that this hasn't happened yet, okay? Because first of all, this card tells me that maybe you already know it's over, but it hasn't actually ended yet. And so you're kind of cool about it. You know what I mean? You're not excited anymore. Sometimes when you get to the point with somebody where either the whole damn thing is melancholy or you're at a point where, you just want to get out of it with your life, or you're just exhausted, or whatever's going on. Maybe you just know it's over and you're just sad about it, or you're just trying to come to terms with it before you actually separate from that person. I mean, a lot of times this is, people that we still love. And for some people, it might be the person that's holding the money. And it might not even be like a greedy thing. Like they may be holding the other person's money. A lot of times in divorce, this is happening, right? You've already ripped apart each other's emotions, and now you got to rip apart each other's money so you can go live again, right? So when you're playing it cool and you're not so, crying over it, you just really don't care anymore. Everybody around you is like, what do you mean it's not important? And you never said it wasn't important. You're just not flipping out, It could seem like you're self-sabotaging, but you're really preserving yourself. Not in an escapist kind of way, but just in the way of, I can't be, this is just one example. I can't get myself over emotional about this anymore. Because, us Scorpios, we feel deeply, right? We get very upset about things. Things hit us hard. When the situation blows up, we understand the ramifications of it, even if no one else does. Things people say they can't take back, stuff like that. When it's happening to us, it's even deeper, right? Especially if we're being assaulted on purpose for whatever reason, right? So it gets to the point where you just go, we're tough enough to do that, to walk around and still be a goddamn shell. Be thinking, feeling, making plans, but just this is usually something I always like say around my friends, but like when I would get mad at somebody enough, I'll stop talking to them. Like I'd literally stop talking to them. And they could be in the room and I would treat them like they didn't exist. Because I'm so upset with you that I'm not even going to deal with you anymore. At all. Right? But if they get to the point where they push me further than that, to the point where they're just something else, I used to get what I call serial killer cold. I don't mean violent. I don't mean anything like that. I am not actually a vindictive Scorpio. I've always believed that God could come up with something much worse than anything that I could come up with. And a lot of times when I've seen it, I've been glad that I didn't retaliate, because watching that happen was so much better. Okay? But serial killer cold is like, you literally don't care if that person dies tomorrow. I'm not saying like anything. It's just, it's one of those things where it's like, it's your past. I'm done with you. I'm done with you. I'm done with you. Walk. Right? I don't care if you have my money. I don't care if you still have my heart. Right? You need to kick rocks. Done with you. And the funny thing too is, as an empath, people think you're all soft and stuff like that. Like we haven't learned from the best of them. In fact, I'm just going to share this with you as well. If you're a Scorpio empath, you already know what I'm going to call it out, right? When somebody does something that's hurtful, or they're just really good at it, and you did learn from the best, a lot of times the reason why you don't even go after them is because you know you can mess them up with the truth. And you don't even have to be mean about it. You choose not to. And people who don't know what that's about think you're weak. And they don't understand the strength in not poking at somebody when you've got them wired and you figured out what's up with them. Right? This reading isn't about that. If you got yourself to a point where you've ended things, and we'll get back to self-sabotage, probably more in the extended. We will probably talk about it right now as ending things, because again, when you're ending things, there's a lot of situations, there's a lot of places where you could go wrong with that by sabotaging yourself. And it could be self-preservation, and it could not really be self-sabotage, and it could look like self-sabotage, or it could really be that you think you're preserving yourself and you're self-sabotaging yourself. There's a couple ways this could go. So as someone who's trying to move through this, and especially as a Scorpio, I hope that you're like me enough to know you can't even lie to yourself. Because I've watched plenty of people lie to themselves, and I'm like, why would you even do that? And how can you do that? How do you even do that? Right? How do you tell yourself one thing and then believe it? How do you do that? You should teach a class, man. Right? Like, I can't do that. So it's one of those things where you have to you have to deal with it in a way that's not self-destructive. Because self-sabotaging is self-destructive. You're making it harder on yourself regardless of whatever it is that you're doing. You're wearing your own self down. Right? Regardless of whatever it is you're trying to do. It could be anything. It might not be getting out of a relationship. It could be starting something, trying to do something that you want to do for the first time. Something that you might perceive as being hard, right? I'll tell you though, this just looks like one big relationship to me. Usually I can say, this might be family, this might be work. Sorry. So we have this you can't go back to yesterday card. Be in the present. We've talked before about, it's not here on the table, but it's the same kind of message. It's just different card. It's interesting, actually, because this reminds me of that, what's it called? Regret, something, it's nostalgia, it's from the past, right? And the whole reason why it keeps coming up is because your power isn't in the past, it's in the present. This card's telling you to be in the present. You can't go back to the past. It was nostalgia, but it was you were regretting decisions that you made in the past, right? Again, relationship, you're didn't want to whatever, and now you're like, and it's telling you to manage to be glad. First of all, I'd love to sit here and say, well, it might have been beautiful. Maybe once. Maybe at one time it was. You would hope so. You know, I mentioned before that if a relationship wasn't happy at once, then you wouldn't call it a relationship. You'd call it a kidnapping or something else, right? So, and again, mortality, I mean, it just tells me death. And this is like Scorpio's signature here. After you end it, you can't go back to yesterday. You can self-sabotage all you want. You can't go back to yesterday. Where's being the present again? Well, here. Both messages are on this card. And to manage to be glad. Again, part of not looking back at the past. If you're looking back at the past with regret or nostalgia, then your future looks a little bleak. Oh, I want to go back there. I want to go back there, and I want to have what I have back there. Back there. Don't look back. You're not going that way. If you go that way, then we have to rearrange these cards because you're going to repeat the same cycle. You're going to waste more of your time in your life doing the same thing, trying to get something different. You know better. Full moon in Gemini, embrace the flow of life. The flow, right? I went through this and I got out of it. I lost a little bit of money, but I'm glad I got out of it, right? Maybe I got my heart broken, but you know what? I can't go back and fix it. So you might as well just lighten up, right? It's easier to heal anyway. This is the other thing, right? Scorpios. We can dissect the crap out of stuff, right? When you're done dissecting the crap out of it, because I know you do. Where is it? Put the pieces together to see the big picture. It took me a little while to do this. I could see all little aspects of it, and I could see them growing together in my brain to form whatever picture that it was. And usually it was in situations like this that were more and more appalling as they were going on, more and more damaging, more and more hurtful, because it was just one thing on top of another. But it wouldn't be until a long time later when I was able to look at it from a different situation and see the big picture. The big picture on that was so much bigger than what I thought, and was so much bigger than me. Now, right now, I'm specifically talking about my spiritual awakening, but unfortunately for me, my spiritual awakening was tied to my relationships. If you're on this channel, there's a possibility that you had things that were similar. They're just the same. Right? We don't become Scorpios to not transform. And transforming takes momentum. It takes effort. It takes action. It takes reaction. Movement. I'm trying to think of the word for mental initiative. Comforting thing that I can tell you about that is, I've said it before, if you have a relationship that was terrible, it couldn't have been all terrible. And if you're going to blame that person for the bad things in the relationship, you need to take responsibility for your part in it, but you actually need to acknowledge to them as well, on their for them, the good things that happen in that relationship. You can't have the bad without the good. And anyway, even if you tried, you'd be robbing yourself of the experience. You went through that for a reason. And again, this was somebody you were supposed to care about, not a kidnapper. So you might as well see the good sides of it. This is part of the big picture as to why maybe that happened. And again, so you don't have to repeat it. I mean, the gratitude helps you out, but so does staying out of the past and letting things end because you have other stuff to do. Don't self-sabotage. Self-preservation, you know what it looks like. If you're one of those people that can't lie to yourself, you know what it looks like. And I am talking to you a little bit different than I talk to Cancer and Pisces. Why? First of all, Cancer would just cry about it. Sorry if you're Cancer and you're watching this. And Pisces would just lie about it. I'm just playing with you, Pisces. But the joke always was that you're a water sign, you pretend that you're sensitive, but you're not. Now, if anybody relates to that, I don't want to take the blame for that. I'm just going to say that not all Pisces are created equal. So, don't lie to yourself. Don't self-sabotage. If you know you're preserving, then stick with that. If you're not sure, give yourself, in the present, reality check for self-preservation purposes. I mean, you're going to transform anyway. Unfortunately, you're going to do the Phoenix thing anyway. Right? Just embrace it. This says to see it, but I'm telling you to embrace it because you can't go back. Even if you could go back, would you want to? Would you want to? I mean, first of all, this fool needs to put on some clothes. He's been wearing the same outfit for months, right? Don't you want to wear something else? Let's talk about it in the extended. This is your reading. Meet us over there. If not, till we meet again.